Humbly bowing down, before the Almighty, Lord Sri Vishnu, the Lord of the three worlds, I recite, maxims of the science of political ethics, selected from the various sutras. Acquires a knowledge of the most celebrated principles of duty, and what is good and what is bad, is most excellent. Even a pandit comes to grief by giving instruction to a foolish disciple, by maintaining a wicked wife, and by excessive familiarity with the miserable. A wicked wife, a false friend, a saucy servant, and living in a house with a serpent in it are nothing but death. One should save his money against hard times, and save his wife at the sacrifice of his riches, but invariably one should save his soul even at the sacrifice of his wife and riches. Save your wealth against future calamity. Do not say, "What fear has a rich man, of calamity?" When riches begin to forsake one, even the accumulated stock dwindles away. Do not inhabit a country where you are not respected, cannot earn your livelihood, have no friends, or cannot acquire knowledge. Do not stay for a single day where there are not these 5 persons, a wealthy man, a Brahmin well versed in Vedic lore, a king, a river and a physician. He is a true friend who does not forsake us in time of need, misfortune, famine, or war, in a king's court, or at the crematorium, smasana. Women have hunger 2-fold, shyness 4-fold, daring 6-fold, and lust 8-fold as compared to men. Foolishness is indeed painful, and verily so is youth, but more painful by far than either is being obliged in another person's house. There does not exist a pearl in every mountain, nor a pearl in the head of every elephant, neither are the sadhus to be found everywhere, nor sandal trees in every forest. Wise men should always bring up their sons in various moral ways, for children who have knowledge of Niti-shastra and are well behaved become a glory to their family. Those parents who do not educate their sons are their enemies, for as is a crane among swans, so are ignorant sons in a public assembly. Many a bad habit is developed through overindulgence, and many a good one by chastisement, therefore beat your son as well as your pupil, never indulge them. Let not a single day pass without your learning a verse, half a verse, or a fourth of it, or even one letter of it, nor without attending to charity, study, and other pious activity. Trees on a riverbank, a woman in another man's house, and kings without counselors go without doubt to swift destruction. A Brahmin's strength is in his learning, a king's strength is in his army, a Vaishya's strength is in his wealth, and a shooter's strength is in his attitude of service. The prostitute has to forsake a man who has no money, the subject a king that cannot defend him, the birds a tree that bears no fruit, and the guests a house after they have finished their meals. Brahmins quit their patrons after receiving alms from them, scholars leave their teachers after receiving education from them, and animals desert a forest that has been burned down. He who befriends a man whose conduct is vicious, whose vision impure, and who is notoriously crooked, is rapidly ruined. Friendship between equals flourishes, service under a king is respectable, it is good to be business-minded in public dealings, and a handsome lady is safe in her own home. In this world, whose family is there without blemish? Who is free from sickness and grief? Who is forever happy? A man's descent may be discerned by his conduct, his country by his pronunciation of language, his friendship by his warmth and glow, and his capacity to eat by his body. Give your daughter in marriage to a good family, engage your son in learning, see that your enemy comes to grief, and engage your friends in dharma. Of a rascal and a serpent, the serpent is the better of the two, for he strikes only at the time he is destined to kill, while the former at every step. Therefore kings gather around themselves men of good families, for they never forsake them at the beginning, the middle, or the end. At the time of the pralaya, universal destruction, the oceans are to exceed their limits and seek to change, but a saintly man never changes. Do not keep company with a fool, for as we can see he is a two-legged beast. Like an unseen thorn he pierces the heart with his sharp words. As a single withered tree, if set aflame, causes a whole forest to burn, so does a rascal son destroy a whole family. As night looks delightful when the moon shines, so is a family gladdened by even one learned and virtuous son. Fondle a son until he is 5 years of age, and use the stick for another 10 years, but when he has attained his 16th year treat him as a friend. He who has not acquired one of the following, religious merit, dharma, wealth, artha, satisfaction of desires, kama, or liberation, moksha, is repeatedly born to die. Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, comes of her own accord where fools are not respected, grain is well stored up, and the husband and wife do not quarrel. Offspring, friends, and relatives flee from a devotee of the Lord, yet those who follow him bring merit to their families through their devotion. Learning is like a cow of desire. It, like her, yields in all seasons. Like a mother, it feeds you on your journey. Therefore learning is a hidden treasure. A stillborn son is superior to a foolish son endowed with a long life. The first causes grief for but a moment while the latter like a blazing fire consumes his parents in grief for life. When one is consumed by the sorrows of life, three things give him relief: offspring, a wife, and the company of the Lord's devotees. Kings speak for once, men of learning once, and the daughter is given in marriage once. All these things happen once and only once. Religious austerities should be practiced alone, study by two, and sung by three. A journey should be undertaken by four, agriculture by five, and war by many together. She is a true wife who is clean, suchi, expert, chaste, pleasing to the husband, and truthful. Consider again and again the following: the right time, the right friends, the right place, the right means of income, the right ways of spending, and from whom you derive your power. The learned are envied by the foolish, rich men by the poor, chaste women by adulteresses, and beautiful ladies by ugly ones. Charity puts an end to poverty, righteous conduct to misery, discretion to ignorance, and scrutiny to fear. There is no disease so destructive as lust, no enemy like infatuation, no fire like wrath, and no happiness like spiritual knowledge. The poor wish for wealth, animals for the faculty of speech, men wish for heaven, and godly persons for liberation. These five are your fathers: he who gave you birth, girdled you with sacred thread, teaches you, provides you with food, and protects you from fearful situations. These five should be considered as a mother: the king's wife, the preceptor's wife, the friend's wife, your wife's mother, and your own mother. Brass is polished by ashes, copper is cleaned by tamarind, a woman by her menses, and a river by its flow. Time perfects all living beings as well as kills them, it alone is awake when all others are asleep. Time is insurmountable,